Hi, I'm Julia Child.
And I'm Jacques Pepin.
We want to wish you a happy 5th anniversary. This is a wonderful program. Good eating.
Good eating on CLTV. Happy cooking.
Bon appetit.
We're back here at the dining room of the Ritz-Carlton, and I'm joining Rick Bayless during his lunch here. Thanks for stopping to talk to us a little bit.
My pleasure.
Chef and owner of Frontera Grill in Topolobampo. Now, Frontera is about 13 years old, Topolobampo 10 years old.
10 years old.
How have the last 5 years been for you at the restaurants?
I can't really answer that because it's almost like it's been a whirlwind. There's been so many things that have happened in the last 5 years. We started with when I won Chef of the Year back in '95, so that's within that 5-year period. Our cookbook that we came out with shortly after that won Cookbook of the Year, and then we've come out with another cookbook since then, and various and sundry other things. But I guess the thing that sticks most in my mind was when I won Humanitarian of the Year, because that was because I pour so much of my energy back into the community and back into nonprofit organizations like the Chefs Collaborative. That's the thing that I'm really pumped a lot of my energy into.
Well, Rick Bayless, thanks for joining us today. Continued success.
Thank you very much. It's really a pleasure.
Here with another Rick Tramonto and his wife Gale Gand from True and Brasserie Tea up in Northfield. But True came out of the gates very strong, 4 stars in both major dailies. That's got to be exciting for both of you.
God is good. God is good.
How have the last 5 years been for you?
Extraordinary. I still get to work with my wife, which most people don't get to, and I've been doing it for 12 years, 15 years now. So I feel very blessed in that respect, and it's been great. It's good to be back in fine dining and having fun.
The two of you opened Trio up in Evanston many years ago, and then you moved on to Brasserie Tea in Northfield. Gale, you're still doing the pastries at True. Have you changed anything in your style over the last 5 years?
Well, I think what's changed mainly is that people understand now that food is a form of expression. It's not just to feed people, so that gives us a lot more leeway and freedom. But I'm probably having more fun than ever before. I'm doing donuts and vanilla malted milks and silly stuff, so I enjoy that.
Good to have both of you here. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
As I mentioned, there's been a lot of change in Chicago over the last 5 years, of course, with the addition of True recently, another 4-star gem in our city. We thought we'd take a look back at some of the gems on our show over the past 5 years and look back and see some of the celebrities who've been on Good Eating.
In some shape or form.
Mike Motley hosted the very first Good Eating show back in January of 1995. It took just a few weeks before we landed our first local big-name chef, Jean Joho of Everest. Brasserie Joe wasn't even built yet, but Joho showed former test kitchen director Jean Marie Brownson how to make one of the recipes from his new menu, sautéed rabbit with mustard. Julia Child stopped by the test kitchen that first year as well, touring on her Master Chef's cookbook. She showed Jean Marie how to make one of her all-time favorites, poached Dover sole.
And so we're serving baked cherry tomatoes and little new potatoes and a lovely green salad.
And some white wine.
And some white wine.
Before he became a fixture on the Food Network, Emeril Lagasse stopped by the test kitchen twice. In the winter of '97, he showed me how to make a decadent chocolate bread pudding from his Creole Christmas book.
You know, it's getting a little chilly out there, folks, so
A little more chocolate.
you know, we can just sort of drizzle a little bit like that over there.
Of course, there have been dozens of food experts not popularized by TV who've left lasting impressions. Italian culinary icon Marcella Hazan, pastry guru Nick Malgiri and his caramel pear tartlets, Jim Peterson with his delicate Thai fish cakes, and of course, the corn lady, Betty Fussell, with a simple summer gazpacho.
Oh.
Depending on how you want your gazpacho. If it's too thick, add a little tomato juice, add a little red wine, add a little water even.
In late '97, we started hitting the road, traveling to New York to cover the Summer Fancy Foods show. In mid-'98, the American Originals series kicked off, taking us to cities all over the U.S., going in search of regional dishes in danger of losing their identity. We munched on oyster po' boys in New Orleans, clam chowder in Boston, and planked salmon in Oregon.
We have to give the thanks to him for allowing us to use him.
In 1999, Good Eating continued its unparalleled coverage of Chicago's burgeoning food scene, garnering a 4th consecutive James Beard Award for Best Local TV Cooking Show in the nation. From great neighborhood joints like Zuzu's on Belmont, to regional highlights like the Rushing Waters Trout Farm in southern Wisconsin.
If you can receive a fish from our farm the same day it was swimming, you can serve a fresher tasting fish, and the fish will retain quality that much longer.
From trendy spots serving the hottest food to the local icons like Mr. Beef and Jean and Georgetti's Steakhouse. We've covered it all for the past 5 years and continue looking forward each weekend to the time we can say, till next time.
Here's wishing you good eating. Well, any talk of Chicago's culinary past has got to go to one person, because without Mr. Jean Banchet, many of the people here, including myself, would not be sitting here having this kind of experience. So it's a huge honor, and it's very humbling for me to be able to sit next to the greatest chef in Chicago's history. Mr. Banchet, how do you find the dining scene today in Chicago?
Today the dining scene is so beautiful and changed so much. You know, I come in 1968 and there was not too many restaurants, not too many good restaurants, and I was lucky because, you know, I start changing the approach of the dining in Chicago. But now, with you in Chicago and all the other chefs, is a big revolution on cooking. You know, I have a few more years to go, and that's the way. You know, profession is a profession. We have to respect this profession, and I love it.
Steve, here's back to you.
Of course, Mr. Banchet has really set the standard for many of the French chefs in town, and French food is a focus of our first giveaway today, telephone and or mail. Well, let's go back inside the kitchen now and see what Sarah Stegner is working on for the appetizer.
Steve, we're in the kitchen now, taking a look around. I see that Sarah has the appetizers up here, and it's a nice way to kind of show the staff what you're doing, and right before you serve the food. You know, looking at Sarah earlier today, she looks very, very calm, which I don't think I would be this calm, because all these chefs here for lunch, I think I might be a little nervous, and Sarah's putting together the appetizer now. How you doing?
I'm great, great.
You look great.
Thank you.
As always. You look
Thank
very
you.
composed and relaxed.
Trying to stay calm.
Now, what exactly is the appetizer today?
Well, it's a sheep's milk ricotta gnocchi with fresh morel mushrooms and chanterelles, and a little bit of cauliflower mushroom garnish that we fried, and tomatoes with herbs and balsamic vinegar to garnish it.
It looks great. This is great for texture, it looks like.
Yeah, it gives it a little bit of a crunch there.
Now, Sarah, of course, is one of the great supporters of the farmer and bringing food directly from the farm to the restaurant, and she's huge behind the Green City Market, which is a great program here in Chicago. And maybe you'll say a few words about what goes into working with the farmers and supporting that market.
Yeah, I think it's really important that you know where your product comes from, and that everybody wants to use the best quality.
This looks really unbelievable, Steve. Let's take it back to you in the dining room.
Thanks, Charlie. Looks pretty good. Can't wait to see it out here in the dining room. Well, stay with us, everybody, because coming up next, we've got to take care of some business at hand this week by taking a look at this week's Centerpiece, a unique survey to find out where our readers stand on cooking and dining in the year 2000. Then a little bit later in the show, we'll recap one of the best recipes from the past 5 years, a spicy Asian cabbage salad with flank steak that takes us back to the summer of '98. Plus, we'll talk to some of the greatest chefs in Chicago who joined us today for lunch, talk to them about the last couple of years and what we can expect from them in the future. So stay with us.